In the world of trading card games, there has long existed a peculiar phenomenon. Players will not consider a card to be broken unless it appears in winning lists. Players may acknowledge a card's potential, understand its strengths, and fear its implications. Yet, the label of broken remains not only elusive, but often taboo, until, of course, it consistently appears in top-tier tournament results, and then it needs handled yesterday. Not only is Flesh and Blood no different from any other TCG in that aspect, but perception is further convoluted given the matchup-based nature of classes and talents. So in today's video, volume 1 of the series, I'll highlight 5 cards that are low-key busted, possessing immense potential and above-rate value within the context of the game, but aren't considered broken, at least not yet.
A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando.
So one of the easier ways to kick off a social media poop storm in TCG land is to state that a particular card is broken.
First time.
Even the most logical and fair of arguments will be met with both outrage and one simple statement. But it's not even winning, LOL. We've seen time and time again that a card can be seen worthy of the broken label only after it consistently manifests its dominance with winning decks. Furthermore, a card's frequency in lists on its own is not enough either. Cards like Sink Below and Command and Conquer are nearly ubiquitous, yet do not qualify for the community's criteria. More often than not, unless a card is a functional staple within an archetype, it won't be seen as a problem. For many, price is a consideration as well. For many in the community, the thought of taking action on an expensive card is also taboo, seemingly regardless of its impact. This may seem a bit ironic given that stronger cards generally demand higher prices, but it is what it is. See, a card, no matter how potent its individual mechanics, often requires the perfect storm of both supporting cards and a favorable meta. A card, no matter how strong on paper, often needs a perfect deck to truly shine. And to that end, it's not uncommon that a functionally overpowered card will hide within a functionally underpowered archetype, despite the card's obvious power. Proposing a removal of said card when this class isn't meta favored often converts both to confusion and outrage. A prime example of this is Bloodrush Bellow, a brute class staple card. In the Great Book banning of September 2024, Bloodrush Bellow remained untouched, and with special justification given to that decision by James White himself. Bloodrush qualified for nearly all of the criteria that resulted in the other bans, with one exception. It was limited to the brute class. Other cards with similar criteria were impacted, however, indicating that Bloodrush's identity within a historically underperforming class assisted in its protection. Certainly, if brute had been leading the meta, the discussion may, possibly, have gone differently. Now, none of this is to say that any of this is wrong. Obviously, no one wants their toys taken away, especially if our heroes aren't doing well. After all, the broken nature of a card can shift with changes in the metagame. Math is math, value is value, but if a card doesn't have the support, it can languish in mediocrity. Yet, Flesh and Blood does have a very well-established power curve, and it also remains true that cards exist well outside of that curve, pushing the limits of what cards can do within the game. And today's cards live within a distinct range. They are well above curve, but also live in an environment where they're not broken within the wider context of the game, at least not right now. Kicking off our list today at the number 5 slot is sure to draw the ire of brutes everywhere, but this card alone has practically invalidated all other brute weapons in favor of the Mandible Claw. That's right, the aforementioned Bloodrush Bellow exists in a distinct space in the great web of TCG balance. The card is absolutely insane for what it can do, but the brute class hasn't really seen widespread success since Kayo's run during heavy hitter season. And let's just own it, this card is the real true reason that Kayo lost his arm. Even just a vanilla Bloodrush turn into Double Claw produces impressive results. And with a Savage Sash on board, oh baby. Also, never mind the fact that Bloodrush's card draw actually enables getting your other Bloodrushes even faster. As the card pool continues to expand, the risks inherent to Bloodrush have continued to diminish. And there's little chance that one day, far down the road, that Bloodrush Bellow doesn't find itself in the crosshairs. Unless, of course, Mandible Claw leaves first. Coming in at number 4 today is a card with insane value, go again, and a constant disruption threat. not to mention the fear of pummel, all existing within a heavy blue shell. If it wasn't for the siloed design of Conqueror of the High Seas being restricted to the pirate class, this would be well above its current price tag and the target of grumbles online. Nearly everything about what this card does is borderline absurd, kept in check only by the fact that only pirates can run the card. What I think is truly funny about this card is that it would actually be less good if it costed 3, meaning you'd have to find another way to pitch. Sure, that's as easy as a golden tipple or something like that, but as it is, you can raw cast this with 2 blues and leave a card in hand threatening pummel. I mean, gross. But of course, to that end, a card is only as threatening as its associated class, which, despite Gravy's recent success, isn't overwhelming. And as an additional buffer to Conqueror, any ire at Gravy will be directed at the board state playstyle, allowing Pirate CNC to sail on calm waters. However, as we've seen in the past, silo-restricted design only works as long as the card pool remains restricted. Another pirate set or two somewhere down the line? That tune could certainly change. The number 3 slot on today's list is the primary reason why dual swing warrior builds are often superior to two-handed builds. Effectively extracting 1 additional value from a weapon-based go again, Valiant Dynamo provides a refreshing 1 equipment block, helping to cover breakpoints and to disrupt consecutive hit chains like with Mask of Momentum. The potential value extracted from a Valiant Dynamo over the course of a game can be substantial, and can push Dynamo well above what could be expected from a start and play, stay and play equipment piece, especially in the leg slot. The saving grace of Dynamo, however, is that it incentivizes the warrior player to keep attacking, meaning that it requires the commitment of permanent resources. Dynamo only resets if game progressing actions are taken, meaning, in general, a 2-card hand, a pitch, and a go-again provider. Thus, even though Dynamo provides in-game value that is off the charts, there is a cap on what it can do. That fact, combined with the Warriors class' current struggles and challenges, has left Dynamo in a secure space. Within the context of the wider metagame, our number 2 card not only makes sense, but in many ways allows the Guardian class a safety valve in polarizing board state matchups. With that said though, in a vacuum, Rouse the Ancients is an absolutely absurd card. Being able to throw 11 damage across 2 attacks or 13 with an Oathos, all off of an all-blue hand, that's absolutely crazy within the context of Flesh and Blood. Rouse the Ancients allows players to convert a hand of mediocre attack cards into obscene value. I mean, in what world should a deck be allowed to throw even 11 damage off of a hand of all blues? Shh, let's just ignore Mistveil now, shall we? Furthermore, this strength is compounded by the fact that, as a blue itself, is auto-pitch stackable with next to no penalty or planning required. Play your reds, pitch your blues, and once cycle comes around, free value. The counterbalance for Rouse is its base 0 attack, meaning it can't help fuel another copy of itself, cannot serve as a popper, and is pretty undesirable when it comes to clashes. So despite Rouse's complete absurdity as a card, its base 0 combined with its importance to Guardians against Spectra, allies, and the like certainly ensures its future place in the game. Today's number 1 card is not the only one that is most consistently meta relevant, but is pushed even farther due to the relevance of Florian and his double creation ability. That's right, Grasp of the Arknight when combined with a 1-cost weapon is easily the best 1-card non-permanent play in all of Flesh and Blood. Whether looking at it from a fatigue standpoint or a mid-range value point of view, it's easy to see the incredible power of this card. As a permanent, on-board, start-and-play, stay-and-play game piece that can create damage-threatening auras, Grasp of the Arknight stands in an elite category of top-tier equipment. Oh, and with 2 battle-worn to boot. On top of that, putting into context cards like Runerager's Swarm and Sloaming Gloomveil, just to name a few, it becomes immediately obvious what this 1 equipment piece enables in terms of archetypes. And, in-game, or even if things just aren't going your way, a single blue that goes back into your deck can present 4 mixed damage to your opponent for no permanent cost. I mean, come on, 2 cards required if the opponent is at 1? Gross. Now, Runeblades haven't exactly struggled across the overall history of Flesh and Blood, and that's perhaps what has kept Grasp off the radar. Runeblades on the whole have an incredible suite of cards at their fingertips. And, despite its obvious baseline strength and value within that larger card pool, Grasp is just but one more incredible tool. So all of today's cards push the limit of value within the context of the game, but for various reasons are not broken within the current metagame. That, combined with the wider TCG community's unwillingness and really inability to entertain such conversations unless a card is in a dominant space, leaves all of these cards pretty safe from such discussions, at least for now. These 5 cards are clearly busted on their own, but yet are still manageable within the wider context of the game. And thus they are busted, but not broken. So what other cards do you believe fit this or similar criteria? Or were today's picks completely unhinged? Let us know below. And as always, thanks for watching, my friends, and go Commando.